Hello. Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys, I am going to just start the stream in a couple seconds talking about Napoli Granada or Granada Napoli. Let me just go and transfer everyone from the old stream to this one, guys, because there's, I think, a lot of people still in the other one, guys. I'm glad you guys can hear me. If someone is still on the other chat, just transfer over to this video here talking about Napoli Granada, guys. Good to know that you guys can hear me. There was a problem with the mic connection, guys. Apologies for that one, guys. So let me just let me just go and tell other people in the other chat, or let me just delete that video altogether. So give me 3 seconds to do that, guys. Apologies for this very just very bad start to the video, guys. Apologies for it, guys. Let me just give me 1 minute to transfer everyone over. I'm actually trying to delete the video that I just had, so that people don't get confused between what they need to watch. So, yep, just going to delete that one. Yep. All right. I think now we are ready to go, guys. Okay. So let's do this, guys. Let's do this. All right. So apologies for this. We can now start analyzing the game, guys. And so what I was saying in the previous live that you guys didn't hear me. Guys, smash that like button, because I just turned into an IT man real quick for you guys. So dude, I'm sweating. Look at this, guys. I think I'm sweating more than Osimhen did all game, I swear. So yeah, as Anthony said, smash that like button. Awful performance by Napoli, awful start of the stream by me, but here we are. We're going to recover unlike Napoli did. Napoli lost 2-0, guys. And what I wanted to do was start straight from the stats, guys. Straight from the stats. So I think the stats is what really tell us how bad Napoli played, guys. And I'm just going to keep these on the whole time so I know if audio is coming to you guys or not. So let's look at some of the key horrible stats that Napoli had. All right. LB is long balls attempted. LB is the accuracy of these long balls. How many actually went through? Look at Mario Rui or Maximovic. 5 attempted, 2 completed. 8 attempted, 2 completed. Who these long balls were to? No idea. Why they needed to do so many long balls? No idea. But where it gets really bad, guys, is Osimhen, 4 passes in the whole game. 4 passes. And, to even if you have 4 passes in a game and you mess up 1 pass, that's pretty bad. Because let me tell you, the 3 passes that he made, I think any living person on this earth could have completed those 3 passes. So you start to wonder, is this guy the real deal? Is this guy a fraud? I don't think he is, guys. I don't think he is. I think Osimhen has a lot to give to Napoli. Let's remember Lozano last season. But 4 passes, guys. 4 passes is just too little. It's just way too little. And then you've got Bakayoko, 67% accuracy. I think in the previous game, the one against, I think it was Juve, or maybe against Atalanta, I pointed out how poor Bakayoko is at passing the ball. And someone defended him in the chat. Someone always has to defend someone. Someone defended him saying, oh, Bakayoko isn't a passing player. Okay, well, Mairo Rui, 81. Maksimovic Rahmani in the 90s. Okay, Osimhen, he had a horrible game. But, everyone else is in the 80s and 90s. No one's even in the 70s. And then you've got Bakayoko, a midfielder, 67%. 67. How do you become a professional player and you've got less than 70% passing accuracy? And I pointed this out, guys. I pointed it out in the past stream. Everybody was like, oh no, he's not a passing player. What do you mean he's not a passing player? So what sport is he playing? Basketball. How do you play football without knowing how to pass the ball? Huh? So, let's see some of the comments that you guys are having. Ossi was offside the entire game. Oh, you want offside? Oh, I've got offside for you. I've got offside for you. Look, I've got everything. Anthony, you want offsides? I got offsides, man. I noticed the same things that you noticed. I'm glad that people are tuning in to how bad Napoli plays sometimes. So, smash that like button if you're happy with me having things prepared. Obviously the audio was bad in the other ones. But guys, I put in a lot of effort into these streams while I watch the game for you guys. I've got one eyeball here, one eye on the game. And then, setting up straight after a Napoli defeat. Sorry for the bad audio for anyone in the past stream that I had to delete. So yeah, guys, I know you guys are mad right now, but smash that like button if you like the content that you're getting. Anyways, so Osimhen, guys, offsides twice, dispossessed once, and bad touches 2. Remember, he basically didn't have the ball at all in this game. So to see twice offside, to see all these bad passes, it just makes no sense. It just, how bad of a game do you need to have? And in the player ratings that you'll see later, guys, I mean, I went nice on him. I only gave him a 5. Or I gave him a 5 instead of maybe a 3 or a 4. Because I do think maybe he didn't get much service, but it's bad, guys. It's bad. Let's see some of your comments, guys. Sebastian is saying this game showed us how important Lozano is for us. 100%. We really miss Lozano. I mean, Lozano gives us so much. I praised him so much this year, and it's true. He does that. He does bring something to this Napoli team, and I was fearing for this. Klaus Murphy, new league, COVID, he was good at the start of the season. People said the same about Lozano last year. Exactly. So this is what I mean by Osimhen. He's having a few bad games. He's returning from injury, from COVID, all that bad stuff. Let's not say he's a horrible player. Let's not say he's trash. Let's just say he's having a horrible moment, because we know how players like him are. Strikers especially, they rely on confidence, and confidence, and the team needs to be working for him. El Analista, without Mertens, Napoli does not exist, and now without Lozano, who's the one who's carrying it? He is also injured. Gattuso awful. It is clear to us that Insigne cannot carry the team alone. Exactly, guys. Gattuso was awful. We'll see that in the analysis that we'll have of this game. Insigne tried his best, didn't do much, and without Lozano, there's no one that beats the man. There's no one that has that hunger in attack, and it was really bad. Shafik is saying Lobo out. We'll see Lobo. We have an analysis on Lobo as well here. So guys, everything is coming. Analysis, stats, press conference, all that good stuff. Make sure the guys that are watching here, the guys and girls that are watching, to smash that like button. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Someone said Rico 25, Politano injured apparently, guys. Alessandro Ruiz was decent. You guys are talking all about these player ratings and the Politano thing. I really hope that's not true. I really hope it's something small. But yeah, why don't we just go into the player ratings, guys? Why don't we just see what the player ratings are? Because I think only against Atalanta did we have worse player ratings than what I'm showing here now on the screen, guys. So it's difficult. Let's start from the players, and then we'll get to Gattuso. Okay. So Insigne. Let's start off with what's not so bad. So Insigne put in a lot of effort. Actually, he's the player with the most number of tackles for Napoli, which means he was defending. He was trying to get the ball from the midfield going back. I don't think that's something that he should be doing. He shouldn't be going all the way back into a defensive midfield position to get the ball. But that's what he felt like he had to do in order to be relevant. So Insigne 6 for that reason. Politano got subbed off at halftime. Yes, his mistake. He lost the ball, led to Granada's second goal. But apart from that, didn't really have, that bad of a game. But it is a big mistake. Rico's saying in the chat that he might be injured. Hopefully that's not the thing. Adrian is saying, why Gattuso 4? We'll get to Gattuso 4 in a minute. Osimhen 5, we saw that with the stats that we just talked about 2 minutes ago. Fabian was the best player on the field, guys. Fabian looked like he had he sucked out all the energy out of the Napoli players and put it in his own body, which is not that much energy, but it's something. He was trying things, dribbling past players, through balls, passing, defending. I liked it. I liked Fabian. If this is the Fabian that we're gonna get in the second half of the season, then I don't think many people are going to criticize him. This is a new Fabian, a rested Fabian, a Fabian that is playing without the negative comments from the day before. This is a free Fabian, so I like that. And as Anthony Giampaolo is saying, Fabian plays well in a 4-3-3. That's another really good point. We've always seen Fabian in the past 6 months in the 4-2-3-1. Now in the 4-3-3, Fabian's back to his natural position, guys. Elmas Lobotka 5, inexistent. Bad passing, backwards passing, sideways passing, any type of passing, upside down passing. Any type of passing except forward, except accurate, basically. And then you've got in defense Rahmani with a 5, because in Granada's second goal, the one that completely destroyed the game for Napoli and potentially kicks us out of the Europa League, it's his fault that they actually score this, because you need to be defending that counterattack much better. We'll see that. We have photos here. We have that. Guys, make sure you're smashing that like button if you agree with these player ratings, guys, and smashing that like button, all that stuff. I keep asking that of you. It's regardless of Napoli win, lose, draw. That's to help this channel. That's for you guys, so that we build this community. So yeah, make sure you do that if you like the content. Mairo Rui 5.5, guys. I thought he had such a strange game. There was some horrible moments where he was giving the ball away. Granada almost scored from it. Really sloppy, nervous, and then other times where he was whipping in really good balls. So I couldn't really decide. Overall, just not enough. 5.5. The LPR is saying, man, what happened with the first goal? Max and Rami were covering up one player, and Di Lorenzo had to cover 2 guys. Guys, we'll get to that. Those of you that follow the stream know that we'll go over the key moments and what Napoli could have done better. I'm just going through the player ratings now before I go into that. Striking Vin is saying Napoli don't have an attack, no one to try to shoot. Osimhen was offside all the time. Exactly. Osimhen had zero awareness today of his position. Anyways, Maximovic I don't think did horribly. I think deserves a 6. Di Lorenzo 5.5 because he was out of position in both goals, and Meret 5. He had one or two saves, good saves, but I think that he should have definitely done better in the goals that we conceded. So you guys want pictures? Let's start off with the match analysis, guys. Let's start off because you guys are getting impatient with me, guys. So let's start off, guys, from the start. I like to do this in a chronological order. That's also the way I save my photos. So if I have to start spending time on how to arrange them, then it's a bit complicated. So let's start off chronologically. Napoli defend in a 4-3-3. That's actually an important point, guys, because even when we have a 4-3-3 formation, sometimes we defend in a 4-4-2. And I actually think this is a mistake that Napoli did today, because I think some of the goals that we conceded and some of the chances that we conceded is actually the fact that we didn't have that extra midfielder covering, or we didn't have that extra midfielder at the start of the Granada play to cover in the midfield. And we kept a 4-3-3 building up. We had the fullbacks quite trying to go forward. A very compact 3 in midfield with Elmas and Fabian playing ahead of Lobotka, and then a very wide front 3. And look how isolated Osimhen is. So it's he's had a bad game, but definitely Napoli needed to do something to at times bring Fabian or Elmas closer to Osimhen, or one of the wingers needed to come in a bit more. Striking Vin is saying, I watched Ossi a lot today. He didn't run. He just walked like nothing. Is disappointed. Exactly. I mean, there wasn't much going for him today. Anyways, the tactic. Let's look at what Gattuso tried to do when it was still 0-0. The tactic that Gattuso tried to do was keep Insigne and Politano super wide down the flanks. And we talked about Di Lorenzo's position in the past video that I did, talking about actually the youth players and how modern current right backs and left backs, they are transitioning from just being wide players to players that are coming into the middle. Being that extra midfielder, this allows some of the midfielders to go more up. In this case, we see maybe Elmas go a bit more further up because Di Lorenzo has joined Fabian. So this is what Napoli was trying to do in attack. Put an extra person in the middle through Mario Rui or Di Lorenzo, keep Insigne and Politano extremely wide. Now, what's the issue here? The issue is that if someone like Politano, let's say, loses the ball, like it happened in the second goal, you've got Di Lorenzo way out of position, and we'll see that in the second goal. So that's how it started off with Napoli. That was our intention, but it was immediately clear that Granada were the better team. They were doing things better than us. They were dangerous, and I mean, I just want you guys to have a look at Elmas in this case. So you've got a player here, a great pass, a bit like the one that we this action here reminded me of the second Verona goal against us. Anyways, great pass into the space, but Elmas just doesn't care about covering, doesn't care about going two players on that Atletico player, and he's got no one behind him that he's covering, right? It's not like he's in that position because there's an approaching Granada player. No, he's just there because he's lazy. He thinks Maksimovic can handle it. But actually, you need to be able to have, when you can, have two players go onto the ball, help each other out, okay? And we didn't do that. Elmas totally disinterested. Actually, it's a good save by Meret and Di Lorenzo to clear the ball in the end. But then you see even when we're 0-0, right? No urgency from Napoli. No urgency in defense, no urgency in attack. Look at Lobotka, guys. I mean, look at Lobotka, guys. Someone said Lobotka out in the chat. This is the pass that Lobotka does in white, and this is in yellow the pass that Lobotka should have done. We're countering at this point. Instead, and Fabian made a really good run, actually. Fabian was way up at the top of the screen, came down, tried to get the ball. Lobotka didn't see him. Fabian came even more down, tried to unmark himself. Lobotka didn't see him. What does Lobotka do? Pass down the side. The most predictable thing. I don't know how some players make it to this level. I seriously don't understand the lack of quality of some of these Napoli players. Bakayoko, Lobotka, on the ball. The lack of passing awareness, the lack of technique, the lack of creativity from these players is just incredible. And at this point, it was 0-0. It's... Just go for it. You're not even mentally down that you're scared. Just go for it. Make the pass. Make the forward pass to Fabian. Do it. Anthony saying Lobotka ate way too much food since coming to Napoli. Yeah, guys. I mean, I don't want to get into that necessarily. I don't want to shame him, but he doesn't look like a football player. It just doesn't. We joke about Higuain at Juventus, but I mean, have you seen Lobotka? Anyways, so that was Lobotka basically providing nothing for us, nothing. The most useless player, because if everybody around him is doing great movement like Fabian and you're not taking the most of it, then what's the point of making the movement? It's just wasted energy, right? But anyways, this is Granada's first goal. Long ball into the cross from the far side into the back far post, and Granada's player heads it in. And I think Meret could have done better there, but that's not the point, guys. I mean, let's take a look at the position of some of these Napoli players, guys. Let's take a look, because it's embarrassing. First off, you've got Mario Rui and Elmas. In this case, marking absolutely nobody. It's a useless 4 against 2. Why do I say useless? Now, if, Insigne and Elmas were closer to the guy on the ball, then okay, it makes sense to have someone there. It makes sense. You're closing him down. But if you're not gonna have that, then what is the point? What is the point of having 4 players there? Instead, what should have happened is Mario Rui shifts down, Maksimovic shifts down, Rahmani shifts down, and then Di Lorenzo shifts down. It has to go boom, 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 boom. That's how it needs to go. All right? It needs to be quick, because if you're not quick, if you don't make that transition, then Di Lorenzo can't mark the guy at the back. Di Lorenzo at this point has to pick. He has to pick either the guy that has an arrow through him or the guy behind him. And to be fair to Di Lorenzo, the guy in front of him is the one that is the most dangerous. That's the one you don't want free. If Di Lorenzo backs off, then the guy in the middle is way too free. He's more central to the goal. So Di Lorenzo is actually in the right position, but what needs to happen is there needs to be Mario Rui needs to understand 3 seconds ago that there's too many players up in the top left. He needs to go. Then Maksimovic, then Rahmani, then Di Lorenzo. It needs to be quick. 2 seconds. Insigne and Elmas, they need to go. They need to press. Everyone's just all over the place. We don't even have a defensive line. Adrian is saying, are you a coach? No, I just unfortunately watch a lot of football and Napoli, and I look at the game, guys. I studied the game. I look at it and I think, what could they have done? That's how I analyze the game, guys. But no, I'm not a coach. So maybe I'm saying things that maybe a coach that's actually out there saying, no, there's a reason why Mario Rui was in no man's land. But this is how I see football, guys. And it needs to be quick. It needs to be quick. And I think for anyone that is actually wondering about just other channels that are similar to mine, I wouldn't say similar at all, but go listen to Sky Sports UK. Their Monday Night Football. Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are quite good at match analysis, and it's where I learn a lot of things from, actually. So for anyone interested, anyways, so that's what I mean, guys. It needs to be a quick transition, guys. And then you've got the second goal. Politano loses the ball. Okay, fair enough. Look at Lobotka, completely useless. You'll see him in the next slide. He's not there, guys. Look, Lobotka at the bottom of your screen. Okay, 3 seconds later, where's Lobotka? About 50 meters behind the ball. He's 50 meters in front. Now he's 50 meters behind. I could do this all day. About how bad Lobotka is. Oh yeah, guys, I introduced a bot in the chat, so every 15 minutes it's gonna tell you to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And I'm gonna try to introduce a bit more things into the chat. I'm just starting out with Stream Elements, so hopefully that doesn't bother you guys too much. Salvatore Di Brito saying Lobotka was running to the concession stands. Yeah, guys, Lobotka thought that it was halftime and ran to the cookie guy or the guy that sells chips. Yeah, it's embarrassing, Lobotka being outrun like that. But look at Rahmani. I said, part of the reason why they scored is Rahmani. There's no need for this gap. There's no need. We talk about shifting, guys. When you're in this position, you need to shift. Go cover some of the space that you have there. Then Maksimovic needs to shift. It needs to be like a string, guys. They need to be moving as a string. I'm not saying that they need to go wider. I'm saying they both need to shift over, because there's no reason for them to be so slanted on the right. I think they could be 1 or 2 meters closer, and that 1 or 2 meters is the difference between getting your foot in between the shot and letting someone score. That's really what it boils down to. Okay, what are you guys talking about in the chat? Let me just scroll up and see what you guys are on about. Alessandro De Marco saying Locatelli, Zaccagni would be great as summer acquisitions for sure. I think they would give our midfield so much quality, dynamicness, so many things, guys. So many things. Locatelli, Zaccagni would be great. I've said it before that those are 2 players that I want at Napoli. So I think Napoli, if they need to make that next step, it's Locatelli, Zaccagni, Emerson. 3 Italian players, quality, good physique, can get stuck into tackles, are not going to get pushed around. So that's what I think they need. So I agree with you. For Dylan is saying the players that are now on the bench, we need to send them on loan so they can improve their matchability. Gattuso is not a good coach, says Atal Nurgali. El Analista saying the weakest Napoli I've ever seen in several seasons. I agree with you. Definitely one of the worst. Shmuel is saying, why did we only make 2 subs? We have youngsters and they can come and be fresh. The team is tired from playing too much. Man, I'm so glad you brought up that point, because let me actually take a break from the match analysis thing and let me shift over to the player ratings. For Gattuso, someone was asking, well, that's exactly for that reason. We made 2 subs. And one of them was during halftime. So in the whole second half, we made 1 sub. And you're talking about a team that has no one else, no other senior player on the bench. We can't be risking injuries. You've had Insigne that looked like he was struggling the whole game with his fitness, and never did Cioffi come on, Zidatka, Costanzo, guys. The ones who follow this channel, you guys will have seen the video I made yesterday or the day before about these youngsters. They're quite good youngsters, guys. They're quite good, and it's frustrating that not even when we're losing 2-0 and we've got all this injury crisis, Politano may be out injured in between the first and second half, and we don't bring on any youngsters. I've never seen a team that goes with so many injuries and doesn't bring on someone from the youth. If you don't bring them on when you need them, when are you going to bring them on? And in the 13 months or 14 months now that Gattuso has been coaching Napoli, the amount of minutes, not times, but minutes that a youth player has played for Napoli has been 10. 10 minutes. Cioffi against Fiorentina. 10 minutes in 14 months. That's how much time he's given a youngster. 10 minutes, guys, in 14 months. In 14 months, you're telling me we could have never afforded a bit more time to it? Not even when we were winning, 4-0 against Roma, 4-1 against Cagliari, 6-0 against Genoa, 4-1 against Atalanta. In those games, you mean to tell me that we could have never, for 10 minutes, seen what Zedarka was about, seen what Costanzo was about, seen what Cioffi was about? Only once. It's too little, guys. It's too little. And if Politano is out injured and someone else, then guys, we're really screwed. We're really screwed. So that's why Gattuso 4, and we'll see with the continuation of how the game went, why Gattuso 4. So if we go back to this slide, yes, so this is how Napoli conceded their second goal. And then, in the 24th minute, you've got Gattuso, bottom left-hand corner, telling Napoli to go up. You've got Di Lorenzo and Mario Rui going up. And Insigne and Politano this time getting closer to Osimhen. So when Di Lorenzo and Mario Rui stay wide and go up, then the wingers can come in and help Osimhen. That lasted roughly the time it took me to make the screenshot. That's how long this lasted. 2 minutes later, we were super wide again. Osimhen super isolated. Osimhen needs to be around players. He needs to feed off players. He needs to make movements around them. He needs to do little flicks around them. If Insigne and Politano are super wide with no one in support of him, then Osimhen can't play well, and Napoli can't play well if we don't have a striker playing well. So, Klaus Murphy, what a disaster not to bring in Emerson. I agree with that. Guiller's 95, I'm scared of the Atalanta game. At this point, we will get baptized by them yet again. Yeah, exactly. And then, guys, I'm just going to jump 25 minutes later in the second half. You still got, in this case, Lobotka with the ball, still not substituted yet for some miraculous reason for Lobotka. Must be in his contract to get a certain number of minutes, surely. Because if I was Gattuso at halftime, you wouldn't have seen Lobotka, not even in the second half. You wouldn't have seen Lobotka, period. Like, he would have gone missing. That's what I think would have happened if I was coaching Napoli at the time. No, guys, for any FBI person watching, no, I did not say I was going to do something with Lobotka. Anyways, so this picture here, guys, it is important because it shows how Napoli is super disconnected. You've got a situation where, yes, we need to score. It's 2-0, fine, fair enough. But we're missing a midfield. We're between Lobotka with the ball and the next closest Napoli player to him, which is let's say Insigne or Fabian at this point, going forward. Between these two players, there's 3 or 4 Granada players in between. 3 or 4. If you look at just along the field. So super disconnected, guys. We were really missing a midfield today. Really missing a midfield. I mean, yes, I said Fabian did well, Zielinski did okay, but there just doesn't seem to be. I don't know what Gattuso's doing. I just cannot understand what he's doing. Ciccio Caputo would do better than Osimhen. Alessandro De Marco saying, guys, without doubt, at this point in his career, Ciccio Caputo would do so much better than Osimhen. But that's no disrespect to Osimhen either. I mean, you're talking about Ciccio Caputo is like the best player ever in Serie A. So no, I think Ciccio Caputo is a great player. I think he should be in the Euros for Italy. And yeah. Klaus Murphy saying, I think Osimhen is more of a high ceiling thing. You couldn't resell Caputo. DX more nowhere near as well as he does under Sarri though. He's talking about Jorginho there. But yeah, Jorginho would give so much quality to this Napoli team. But just any decent midfielder playing as a holding midfielder would. Even Demme would do better. Unfortunately, Demme is not available for us. But the disconnect in the team today was just incredible, and I think this image here kind of illustrates it. But yeah, and you can see here Gattuso saying to Lobotka, "Go forward," and Lobotka is like, "What does that mean? I don't understand." Anyways, let's go forward. I was talking about Fabian being quite good, guys. Fabian had some really good moments in the game, lots of good dribbles, lots of passes. But here we see Osimhen completely unaware that he's actually potentially onside. So difficult to tell from this picture. Maybe offside, but the thing is, Osimhen has no idea where he actually is on the field, because when Fabian plays that ball, Osimhen realizes that he may be offside, doesn't touch it. Elmas then doesn't get to it. But I think any good striker knows exactly how he is in the line, and if he's even 1% thinking, maybe I'm onside, he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it and he's going to take a shot. Because if you are onside, that could be a goal. Whereas Osimhen has no idea, has 0% confidence in where he is, and so he doesn't touch the ball. And doesn't communicate with Elmas. No awareness. Never once looked back behind him to see where am I positioned compared to other people. He's got no idea. Absolutely nothing. And it's dreadful. And it happened a few times in this game. And then you've got, Napoli had a few chances. We had some with Zielinski. We had some with Rahmani. As I said, like a good cross from Mario Rui in this instance. But Granada had some good chances as well in the second half. Here we see Maksimovic making a good intervention. We see Meret at the end make a good save. So anyone that's saying, Napoli could have scored a goal, well, so could have Granada. In fact, I thought always Granada looked more dangerous than Napoli when attacking. So I think 2-0 is the fair result. If not 2-0, what did you guys want? 3-1? Fine, that would have been a little bit better with an away goal. But the point is, Granada were head and shoulders above Napoli today. Head and shoulders. Guillermo saying, I'm sorry, Osimhen, the French league is a farmer level against Serie A. We should wait for him, though. Look what happened with Lozano in the end. Guys, I mean, French league is a farmer league. I mean, Lille is doing really well. That's the team that Osimhen was in before. And you've got PSG thrashing Barca 4-1. So they're in a league with PSG. So there's that. Other than PSG, there's not much. But I wouldn't say he's, a bad player, guys. Like, we praised them in the first 10 games of the season, in the first 6-7 games of the season. And he started off well. Napoli were playing differently, though. Napoli had more fluidity about them, more confidence, more enthusiasm, more energy, less injuries. There was everything around Osimhen was different. And then he got injured as well himself, got COVID. There's, guys, the injury that Osimhen has is not a simple one. I'm sure that maybe in the summer he's going to need surgery. It is an injury that affected his nerve. And you could see that he's not running the same way that he was before. And COVID, some players like Cuadrado, they recovered amazingly from COVID. Other people have this thing called the long COVID, which is basically when you don't... You basically have a COVID hangover. You just can't really shake it off entirely, as in like your body just doesn't feel great. So that's potentially what's happening with Osimhen, guys. So for anyone saying, and this is the one chance that he did have. Talking about Osimhen, Insigne flicks the ball on. Obviously something worked on in the training ground. Flicked the ball on. Came in a bit high. You can see here the ball is pretty much shoulder level for Osimhen. Really difficult technique. Got the shot on target. A half chance for him. And yeah, I mean that's really the best thing he did all game. Just converting this half chance into a shot on target, and it was Napoli's only shot on target. And yeah, but I do believe in Osimhen. I do believe in him. I think he will prove a lot of people wrong. Let's be careful with saying someone is a horrible player by having just not one bad game, but let's say 1 or 2 bad months. When you're so young, when the whole team around you is playing so badly, then it is very, very difficult. Anyways, that is the pictures that I have for you, the analysis, the technical analysis, guys. If you like these analysis, then go. You guys know what to do. You guys just smash that like button, guys. It's so simple. It's just like that. Go smash that like button and help the channel out. What are you guys saying in the chat before I go and look at other stuff, other stats maybe of the entire game, for example? Let's see what you guys are saying. I'm gonna just go up. Klaus Murphy, good or bad? Bad that sometimes they don't go all in, but good that we're in a great financial shape. Guys, I don't know if Napoli is in a great financial state. As in, we're not as bad as some other teams. We don't have some of the debt that other teams have. But we are in a delicate position if we don't get Champions League football. There is a concrete possibility that without Champions League football, Napoli has to sell off some of their best players. We're talking Koulibaly. We're talking potentially, I put Fabian in there. I wouldn't say he's one of our best players, but one of them that has the most market or has the most. He's at least got opportunities to improve, and we just wouldn't have the option to wait for some of these players anymore. We would have to just sell them without waiting to see if could Fabian be a better player for Napoli. No, we would just have to sell him if we don't get Champions League football. And we are really not in that good shape. I think it gets overemphasized that we're in a good shape, and I disagree with that. I think I might do a whole separate video about Napoli's financials and why I think it's actually pretty worrying. Guys, when I find the time, I can do videos about all sorts of things, tactics, youth players. I might just do one about financials. Hopefully that doesn't bore you guys to sleep if you guys just come here for the pure football aspect. But I think it's something, the context of Napoli as a club is something that I think we all need to be aware of. So do watch out for a video like that in the next few weeks, whenever I do manage to find the time for it. But let's take a look at some of these stats. 11 shots, 1 on target. Horrible. And the rest is just, we saw the stats, the individual player stats, which actually make a better story. But again, you see here, right, 6 corners, and this is something that I want to talk about because we had 2 or 3 set pieces, free kicks, okay, that we were actually dangerous from. We had the one that Mayrui whipped in and Rahmani got his head to it. We had the one that Insigne put inside the box and Osimhen had a half chance. Now, why? And in the first half, we had 1 or 2 really good opportunities with Elmas getting in the far post. Why in the second half did we start doing short corners? Why? We did it 2 or 3 times, but we were actually becoming dangerous in that way. And Granada are not the most defensively great teams. They've conceded 38 goals this season in La Liga, and we're only halfway there. And yeah, it just sometimes the decision making of Napoli. Anyways, guys, I think what I will do, I'll leave these stats on for anyone new that's coming in. What I'll do now is go into the Gattuso Gattuso press conference. So let's see here, guys. Let's see what Gattuso has to say about this game. So, Gattuso press conference. Just loading this up, guys. Apologies for the short delay. So it's a short press conference this time. Obviously, didn't feel like speaking much, Gattuso, but he's saying. We had trouble verticalizing our play. In order to go vertical, you need to attack the space in the first half. The only one that did that was Lorenzo Insigne. If you don't attack the space, then you're going to be in trouble. Osimhen is failing in this right now. In the first 20 minutes of the first half, they did very well, Granada. We conceded 2 goals in a passage of play where they countered very, very, very well. We could have been more precise. We did have the opportunities to reopen the game and score a goal, but in this moment, we're missing a lot of players. You guys talked to me about getting through the round of 32, but where are we gonna go if we only have 10 players? I can't even make subs. We have to hope that people recover, but it is very difficult at the moment. I mean, Gattuso, you have subs. It's just that they're young players. You gotta give them a chance, man. You've got to give them a chance, and it's just frustrating because I thought that the way that we approached the Juventus game, going all-out attack with a 4-2-3-1 of, with Zielinski in the 2 defensive midfield positions. I just thought, okay, fine, he's going for it. He's going to just start risking it from now on. And that includes playing youth players, and he's failing that extra step, guys. He's failing us right now. They ask him about Politano, and he's saying he has a problem. He's had a problem in the past few days. At the end of the first half, he couldn't play anymore. He had too much pain. Even his conditions are to be evaluated. He had a lot of trouble breathing, and that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So Politano confirmed. Injured, hopefully a few painkillers and a bit of rest, and he's fine within the week, but not very descriptive on what kind of injury that actually is, Gattuso. how do you explain the fact that Napoli's first shot on target was on the 86th minute? And he said it was because we had a really hard time finding the right combinations in attack and putting the opposition in danger. We are in an emergency situation and we're paying for that. Gattuso, stop talking, man. Stop. The fact that you struggled to make combinations is because you kept Insigne and the winger. In the first half it was Politano, in the second half it was Elmas. You kept them way too far from Osimhen. Osimhen needs to play in a 4-2-3-1. Why does he need to play in a 4-2-3-1? Because he needs 3 players behind him, including that number 10 behind him, especially him. And the 3 players behind him, like in the first 2 games of the season, they need to be rotating around him. They need to be closer to him. They need to be linking up with him. If you have Insigne and Politano on different continents, then of course you're not going to do anything. It's just, I don't understand some of what he's saying in the press conference. If he's trying to defend the players, if he's trying to defend himself, he has no idea what's going on with Napoli. But it almost seems like the game against Juventus was a game that we just won because of, yes, a bit of good tactics for sure. I mean, I did talk about that, but it was more of a game of spirit and just thinking, okay, guys, let's just do this one-off, and everybody just putting in their 200% for a one-off. But the problem is you can't be 200% week in, week out. Sometimes you're going to be 80, sometimes you're going to be 70, sometimes you're going to be 90, and you got to make sure that when you're 70, 60%, that you can get a win or at least a draw. And that's through, okay, maybe not with your fitness, but then it's got to be with good tactics. And if you don't have good tactics, then you're only really going to win when you put in that 200%. So, Gattuso, this is on you. And the journalist is asking, so you're saying Granada only won because of your absences? And he's saying Granada did what they had to do. We know their qualities. Maybe the result is not correct. I mean, sure, they should have won, but maybe 2-1 was better. We don't want to think that we lost because we didn't have the players, but maybe it could have been less bad if we had more players. However, it's not been a performance that I'm going to throw away because it could have been worse. And Gattuso saying it could have been worse is... He said it against Atalanta as well, that it could have been 4 or 5. We can see 2 goals against Granada, not Real Madrid, not Barcelona, not Atletico Madrid, not even Villarreal, not even Valencia or Sociedad. We can see 2 goals against Granada. And it's embarrassing that he's saying that it could have been worse. It's embarrassing. I'm speechless. And he continues on in the interview saying Osimhen was away for 93 days. That's not little. He still is playing with something on his shoulder, so he's not at 100%. We have to find continuity, and we need to find our spark back. When we do that, we can then start playing the way that we want to play. But with a lot of different formations, then it's very difficult to do that. But the problem is not just Osimhen. Today we could have done much more, but I saw the spirit. That's the minimum. The fact that we tried to get a goal at the end is the minimum. You're losing 2-0. I think any team would put in a bit of fight, or any team in a top 8 of any league would. They're losing 2-0. Try to get a goal back. So the fact that Napoli did that is not something that you should even highlight. I think that's just standard. You're losing, you go and try to get a goal back. RTB98 says, I'm scared who ADL would bring in to replace Gattuso. Man, at this point, man, like, could it get worse? Could it get worse? I mean, and Mike is correct right below him, saying, we'll see the true Osimhen next year. I think so, but it's not an excuse for Gattuso to come out with these press conferences and say what he's saying. It's not an excuse for Gattuso to not bring in any youth players. I mean, listen, guys, Barcelona lost 4-1 against PSG, and we're talking about PSG, okay? So let's talk a bit about outside of Napoli, just so we can get some context. Barcelona lost 4-1 against PSG. And we're talking about Barcelona, a team that if they lose any game, let alone 4-1, it's a disaster for their history, their fans, for the size of the club they are. Napoli is nowhere near Barcelona, okay? And I think everybody recognizes that. They lost 4-1, fine. But you know what? They lost 4-1, but they had some really interesting players from La Masia playing in that game. They had youth players. They brought on last season a player such as Ansu Fati into the limelight when he was 16. They're doing things that, they're losing games now. They're not doing great, but you're seeing a generational passing of, you're seeing new players, guys. You're seeing new players at Barcelona. You're seeing them shift, and eventually even players like Messi are going to leave. And what I don't see from Napoli is a generational shift. I don't see it. I've never seen it. It really just needs to start from players like Elmas and Meret getting consistent game time. These are the players that are part of the senior team, but they're like 21, 22. They need to be playing. Then you need to have some of the youth teams coming in some of the youth players from the youth team coming in and trying to get minutes and getting into the team and every once in a while starting. You need that. It's okay to lose in the meantime. It really is. It's better to lose like that and you're building something than just like how Barcelona are doing it. And, a lot of people are criticizing Barcelona for their performance, but in 3-4 years' time, when they're going to be back to Champions League semifinals, finals, it's going to be through these players that lost 4-1 against PSG, some of these younger players. And Napoli's not doing that. We're just losing without building anything in the meantime. Obviously, we've got Osimhen, who's 21, 22, but we need more. We need more, especially in a time when we don't have players available in the bench. It just doesn't make sense for me. And I'm glad some of you guys in the comment section are agreeing with that. It's incredible. In this moment, the press conference from Gattuso continues. They say, in this moment, we're missing a bit of Gattuso on the field, they ask him, and he's saying, yes, maybe a little bit. We get depressed on the field when something doesn't go right. I tell this to Elmas all the time. He messes up 2 or 3 times and then he gets depressed. A lot of the times I try to work on this, but it's something we need to improve on. So that's to me a very fragile team, and the problem is that this team is so low on confidence that all it takes is one bad pass. And I think Napoli lost the game on the 2nd minute when Rahmani did a bad pass to Meret, which almost ended up being a corner. And I think everybody there just realized, we're back to bad passing. We're back to bad, all this stuff. And that's really all it takes. And listen to some of the ex-players speak. And they say that when you're going through a bad period in your confidence levels, and and stuff like that. All it takes is one bad pass at the start of the game, and the team just collapses once again. And that's what happened with Napoli. They asked Gattuso, is this a physical issue? Is this a mental issue? And he's saying we can't talk about the physical issues because then we wouldn't have been running all game like we have. So physically, the team is doing well. However, without substitutions, there is no backup. Fabian, for example, did 90 minutes, and that's his first start. It's not a physical thing, or it's not a fitness thing, because the goals that we're getting are exact photocopies of previous goals that we are getting. And they're asking him, what are the chances of a recovery? And he's saying, I don't know. Tomorrow I'll analyze the game. I think that it won't be easy. Now we've got to think about who we play on Sunday. Politano seems like he's injured. We barely have 10 players, but yeah. And guys, fair enough to Gattuso. I mean, with 10 players, I guess it's also quite difficult to prepare games, to train. I mean, if you think about it, guys, how a normal team of 23 fit players prepares a game is you've got, in the days before, you've got 11 players, the starting formation, training, and then you've got the other 11 players basically mimicking the team that they're going to play on Sunday. So whatever formation they play on, whatever formation that team's going to play on Sunday, the backup players will turn into that team, and the starters can practice all the movements against their own teammates before doing it on Sunday. And with having so many players out, we can't even do that. We can't even train properly. So I do feel for Gattuso in that sense, but not good enough. Not good enough, because you've got youth players that I think you could definitely use more of. Anyways, guys, for those of you that have been watching the stream from the very start, and you guys noticed the audio problems in the previous one, and I switched over to this one, then thank you for being patient with me, guys. I really appreciate it. If I could smash a like button to you guys, I would, for every single one of you. And in the past week, a lot of new people joined the channel, so thank you for everyone that is supporting me, and hopefully in the next few weeks we can start analyzing some nice Napoli performances with some wins, because honestly, just analyzing all these defeats can get quite frustrating at times. Chikara Takagi is saying, honestly, I don't think it's just a coach issue. We had one of the best in Ancelotti, and look what happened. That's a fair point. It's a mentality issue. We're fragile. I think the type of, it's not a coach thing. It's the type of players that we bought, which are not suited for a place like Napoli, which is going to get a lot of media attention. The fans are quite fickle. We need strong players. We need players that have a good mentality. And some of the players that we have bought in recent years, I'm thinking Bakayoko, I'm thinking Lobotka, I'm thinking or some of the lack of players that we bought, no one on the wings. What we needed was leaders. What we needed was a few strong players. Any team that wants to play well, I mean, guys, any random team that has won anything, you can go back to Jose Mourinho's 2004 with Chelsea, or Arsenal's 2001 Invincibles. You can go back 20 years, is what I'm trying to say. All those teams had real tough guys in there. That Arsenal team, they had Patrick Vieira. That Chelsea team had Ballack, Essien, Lampard, Terry. you've got in Italy, you've got the best winning teams. Juventus, they have Chiellini, Bonucci, and Buffon. In the middle, the best Juventus team of the last 10 years had Pirlo, Vidal, Pogba, and especially Vidal and Pirlo. They're teams that have a backbone that, if something goes wrong, if someone in the team gets depressed, they don't even have time to get depressed. They'll just the guys there will just tell that young player, what are you getting depressed about? Okay, you messed up one pass, you're gonna make the next one. And we don't have that in the team. We don't, because our captain is the first person that gets depressed. Insigne is the first person that cries on the field when something doesn't go well. So, Klaus is saying, for example, really missing the likes of Reina, Albiol, Hamsik. That team that got to the 91 points had real leaders. It had Reina, Albiol, Hamsik. And the year before we had Higuain, who I think was a leader in that team. We had Jorginho, who's a leader. Jorginho is such a leader. He went to Chelsea, and the next year that he was at Chelsea, he had captained them a few times. So obviously he brings something to the changing room. We're missing a leader. Especially in games like this, that Koulibaly is out injured. Insigne, I don't see him as a leader. He's a technical leader of the team. Technically, he's the best player, but he's not gonna be like an Ibrahimovic, where he's gonna lift players up and also set the example of how not to get depressed after you mess up a shot, because we've seen Insigne do it several times. He messes up a shot, and then he goes all crazy. He tries another five or six shots, and one worse than the other. We don't have that. We don't have someone like Ibra that, okay, maybe he messes up one penalty, but then that's it. That's the one mistake he'll do that game. He's not gonna mess up two penalties. And he's not gonna just try random things to make up for it, like an immature kid. So that's what we miss, as some of you guys are saying in the comments. Alan was solid too. We lack mental fortitude. We crumble so easily as soon as something doesn't go our way, says Salvatore. Yeah, guys, it's something that you can't fix. That's the thing. You can't fix. You can't with the current group of players, you can't turn them into more strong mentally. You cannot. With this group, it needs to start from someone. And we don't have that someone it can start with. So I'm not saying these players are all trash mentally. I'm just saying that they need someone in there, one or two players in there, an Ibra, even a Chiellini, something like that, a real tough guy. We need a tough guy in there. That, I'm not saying to get those players, but I'm saying that's the type of players we need. One of these players that, okay, he's in the dressing room, and now all of a sudden everyone's like, okay, now I need to, so that's how I do it. That's how I need to train. That's how I need to react when I make a mistake. But they need to learn from someone, and they don't have anyone to learn from. So yeah, that's Napoli's problem, guys. Anyways, it is quite late. So thank you guys for joining in on the chat, and as always, smash that like button if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. I see that counter going up. Thank you guys, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre.